Namaste, this is Matrishva from Matrishva Clinical and Wildlife Photography. In this video, you will learn what is exposure compensation and what are the light conditions in which it needs to be given. Camera is equipped with a built-in meter that reads the reflected light from the subject or a scene and accordingly decides the exposure parameters. When you shoot in auto mode, camera will decide all three parameters, that is aperture, shutter speed and ISO. But when you shoot with a semi-automatic mode like aperture priority mode, then camera decides the reciprocal shutter speed depending on what aperture and ISO you have set. Another semi-automatic mode is shutter priority. In this, photographer decides the shutter speed and camera decides the reciprocal aperture depending on what ISO you have set. In both aperture priority and shutter priority mode, you can keep ISO to auto, and thus effectively you need to decide only one parameter and camera takes care of other two factors. So essentially in auto mode and semi-automatic mode like aperture priority or shutter priority, the exposure level, that is the brightness level in the scene, will be almost similar. If it is so, then why to use semi-automatic mode and not stick to the auto mode if exposure is the only concern? Here comes the role of exposure compensation. It is that plus minus button on top of your camera just behind the shutter release button. Some camera model may have a dial for exposure compensation. Camera reads light basically by three methods: matrix or the so-called pattern or evaluative metering, center weighted metering and spot metering. It is not within the purview of this video to discuss details of these metering modes. That will unnecessarily lengthen the duration of this video and we will be off track from the main subject of discussing exposure compensation. But if you want to take up the complete course on exposure for free, then I am going to post a full 6-part series on understanding exposure for beginners on this channel in near future. In that series, you will get complete understanding on different exposure parameters and exposure modes. By default, the factory setting of camera uses matrix or the so-called evaluative metering. As I told you, camera reads the reflected light from the scene, and say for example the light reflected from the scene is uniform from all areas within the frame. Like in such cases of overcast condition, you do not require any intervention and camera's inbuilt meter will do a decent job. Nonetheless, if you have a situation like this where the subject is brightly lit and the background is in shadow, in this case it is apparent that majority area of the frame is in shadow and will have less light reflected from it. In this condition, camera's light meter will think that light in the scene is less and thus will try to compensate for that less light by overexposing. Like in the case of a human eye, if we have to see something in dark, then what we do? We open our irises to let more light enter in order to visualize the subject. Contrary to it, if the light is too bright, we blink or reduce the size of our irises. Camera's inbuilt meter also functions similarly. But the difference between the human eye and the camera's inbuilt meter is that we have a brain attached to our eyes which can differentiate between the subject and the background, while camera's inbuilt meter does not have that intelligence. So in our present example, camera will overexpose considering that the overall light is less, and in doing so it will overexpose the subject which is already brightly lit, and we do not want that to happen. So we tell the camera that although you feel that light is less, but according to me, light falling on the subject is more. You are looking at the overall picture, whereas I am looking at the subject. This is the mental conversation between you and your camera. You tell camera that as such, please do not overexpose, rather underexpose. And how I convey this message to the camera? By giving a negative exposure compensation. Look at the image before and after giving that negative exposure compensation. In the opposite situation, when the subject is in shade and background is bright, then exactly reverse happens. Camera thinks that light is more and thus will underexpose the scene. Here again, we need to tell the camera that light is in fact less and you need to overexpose. And this message is conveyed to the camera by giving a positive compensation. Look at the image before and after giving positive exposure compensation. In short, remember that if the light is falling directly on the subject and background is in shadow, then give negative compensation. And if the subject is in shadow and background is brightly lit, then give positive compensation. I highly recommend that you follow this channel and subscribe to watch the complete series on understanding exposure coming up this month. I assure you that all your concepts will be crystal clear after watching that 6-part series. In the meantime, I suggest you watch this video to understand how camera's inbuilt meter behaves with changing light condition. Link is also given in the description. Not always you give exposure compensation for compensating the camera's fault, but sometimes it is also given for artistic purpose to render a different look to the image, like in this case of a cheetah and a lion image. Appreciate that both are backlit subject. That means light is directly falling onto the camera and camera will underexpose, presuming that light is more. But we can further underexpose it for getting that rim light effect, or overexpose it for the washout effect like this. Look at these two tiger pictures. Both are shot in the same light condition. In fact, both the images are of the same tiger, shot at the same time. She is the famous tigress of Tadoba Tiger Reserve called Maya. By the way, if you are interested in joining me for March 2021 safari of Tadoba Tiger Reserve, then please do contact me. I have few seats remaining in that. In first image, I gave a negative compensation to get that rim light effect. And in the right side image, a positive compensation was given to get that misty effect. And then there are situations in which you deliberately want all the tones in your image to be bright for the so-called high key effect. In such case, you give a positive compensation. And if you want all the tones in your image to have a shade of dark, then use negative compensation to achieve the so-called low key effect. So depending on your choice, depending on your taste, play with exposure compensation and create artistic images. Did I say keep exploring? See you next weekend.